from CBC News.
Hello and welcome to CBC News. I'm Marianne. Today we'll be discussing the enveloping presidential race in the last week. Candidates Marco Rubio and Hillary Clinton introduced their candidacies this Monday.
That I'm standing here today to proudly announce my candidacy for the presidency of the United States of America. So I ask for your vote in this year's election. Together, we can make the 21st century a century for the working class, a new American century. Thank you.
That is why I, Hillary Clinton, would like to formally announce my candidacy for the President of the United States of America. I will recognize the need to have a strong foreign policy without overstretching America's authority. I will balance the need to stimulate the economy through business along with the need to provide fair conditions for the middle class. And I will work tirelessly to promote the causes of the minority demographics in our nation.
The day followed with questions by the press to the newly announced presidential hopefuls. Topics covered included immigration, education, and foreign policy. However, more shockingly, the Hillary campaign revealed an indiscretion in the CAPSPAN news network. An employee of CAPSPAN, Mr. Ari Charles, released a video attacking the Hillary campaign on our Twitter account by the name of Anyone But Hillary. The Hillary campaign stated that Mr. Charles had help from others and criticized CAPSPAN for taking a partisan view on the election.
It has been brought to the attention of us here at the Clinton campaign that a CAPSPAN editor by the name of Ari Charles has been creating several social media accounts in a partisan attempt to derail the Clinton campaign. Charles first created a Twitter account that he named the Restore USA PAC that claimed to represent the views of conservative Republicans. He then changed it to a Twitter account by the name of Anyone But Hillary, which claimed to represent the views of progressive Democrats and used overtly partisan language and aggressive ads to attack the Clinton campaign. According to our sources, Charles was not alone in the creation and management of these accounts. We at the Clinton campaign are deeply saddened to hear of such partisan actions by a member of a supposedly nonpartisan news organization, as CAPSPAN claims to be. We would like to receive an apology from CAPSPAN and from Charles, and we hope that he does not continue his clearly partisan attacks in the future, but instead sticks with his role as an independent journalist. Staff of the Clinton campaign.
I did it because I think that Hillary Clinton isn't the right choice for our country. She has too much baggage associated with her, and I think that we can elect a more progressive Democrat as president.
CAPSPAN denies involvement in the video through an official report and numerous tweets. On Tuesday morning, Bernie Sanders officially announced that he too is running for president.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. Our country faces more crises in this time than in any other time since the Great Depression. And if you count climate change, then it faces more problems than in any time in our history. To do this, we need a president who will effectively address all of these problems and not in watered-down, step-by-step things over the next 20 years. We need effective reform and policy now, and to do this, on advice from friends and the American people, I hereby announce my candidacy for president.
I do offer my congratulations to him. I think that every candidate should have an equal chance at the presidency. However, I have expressed my concerns to him previously because, as both of us are liberals, it's highly probable that he will split the Democratic ticket. Therefore, the chances that Senator Rubio will win the presidency becomes even higher.
Sanders is sure to shake up the race. We'll take a short break now. Stay tuned for more with CBC News.
If America continues on the path that it's going today, we will lose what makes us exceptional, what makes us unique. This idea isn't something I read in a book. In many countries throughout the world, if you don't have enough money, you can only go so far. America is very different. I'm running for president so that the children of the nation can be part of the new American century.
Later in the day, Tuesday, CAPSPAN caught and released the Hillary Communications Director John Merlocoin stating that he thought that Bernie Sanders would win and that Hillary Clinton was in a few street brawls, referring to the Great Broken Bottle incident of 1982. However, he went back on himself and said that his previous statement about the Broken Bottle incident was a lie. We interviewed John Merlecoin, who said that in fact the unprofessionalism was due to the CAPSPAN crew and reporter Nate Blauer. This just in, John Merlecoin has been fired from the Hillary campaign.
So my name is John Merlecoin, and I am the communications director for the Hillary Clinton campaign. Mr. Sanders is a little bit taller, and he's got the experience that Ms. Clinton just doesn't have. Ms. Clinton has been in a few very impressive street brawls in her time. The great broken vodka bottle incident of 1982 is a prime example. It actually didn't happen.
So you're just making it up?
Yes. You got me.
Scandal.
You got me. Explain what happened? Yes, I will explain what happened. I was approached by two journalists, Nate Blauer and Caleb Krackebach, who took me into the hallway and asked me if I could answer some questions. The first question that they asked me is like, what is your role in the campaign? I said, I'm the communications director for Hillary Clinton's campaign. Then they asked me some other trivial questions. They might not have asked me anything, I don't remember. Then the last question that they asked me was, who do you think would win in a fist fight, Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders? I noticed the very goofy-looking grin on Nate Blauer, the journalist's face. He is naturally a very goofy fellow, so I thought at least that we were joking. So I said, of course, you know, I made up some stuff. Bernie Sanders is taller. I said he might have more experience because he's older, fighting. And then I referenced a incident that didn't happen. I was making it up because I thought it was a joke. And then they said, haha, scandal, and edited it into a video, and here we are.
CAPSPAN released the video this past Tuesday, taking Mr. Merlecoin out of context. Mr. Charles, the creator of the Anyone But Hillary video, has also been reported as having a part in the John Merlecoin video creation and release. We will shortly go to break. On Thursday, the candidates participated in the presidential debate, in which many key issues were discussed.
Marco Rubio, in your opinion, what is the biggest problem facing America today? How might you work to rectify it within your first 100 days in office?
Our children are not being prepared with the skills they need and given the education they need to succeed in the global economy.
I would say that making the middle class stronger is definitely the biggest problem that we face today in America. And therefore we can help the entire job industry recover from our recent recession.
And finally, Bernie?
The biggest problem facing America today, although there are many problems, is the fact that politicians and the legislative branch in general is owned by the billionaires. To fix this, we must get money out of politics.
Hillary, starting with you on this question. As you know, our next president will likely have to deal with a Congress that is horribly gridlocked. How would you work with legislators to advance your agenda?
So I would say that considering our foreign policy goals and considering as well a few of our domestic policy goals, that I am willing to compromise with both parties on the subject.
Bernie Sanders?
I would work on the broad issues that we can all address, such as climate change and job creation, and then start moving towards the partisan issues like health care and education and campaign finance reform.
Marco Rubio?
As president, I would work hard to ensure unity in my party and cooperation with the other party, and although I am willing to listen to the voice of the people and to the advice of my fellow Americans and my fellow politicians, I would strive to do what I know is best for our country and secure the best environment and the best global economy for our nation.
Throughout the rest of the day, multiple press conferences and events geared towards last-minute boosts in public image. Also on Thursday, Hillary held a benefit concert for women's and LGBTQ+ rights with refreshments provided.
I'm Danny Stewart reporting for CBC. We're going to go check out the Democratic benefit that Hillary Clinton is hosting in honor of LGBTQ communities as well as women's rights.
Citizens of the United States of America, today I would like to introduce a woman. She has fought for over 30 years to build a reputation as an immovable force for political good.
Since the formation of the United States of America, the rights of some citizens have been deemed less important than the rights of others. Whether a person can marry the person that he or she loves cannot be determined by the state that they live in.
No person deserves to live in fear of discrimination or intimidation because of who they are or who they love. Not here in the United States, not anywhere. Today, as every day, we stand united with lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people around the world in affirming the human rights and dignity all people deserve.
I do not believe that gay marriage should be legal. I believe in a civil union, and I don't think gay marriage should be legal. I understand the point she was making, but I don't agree with them.
During Thursday's press conference, Marco Rubio called upon supporters of the Rubio campaign to declare and justify their support. Clinton also announced Kirsten Gillibrand as her vice presidential running mate. Jeb Bush is running alongside Sanders, and Senator Rand Paul is the vice presidential candidate for Marco Rubio.
Thank you all for being here today. In our American democracy, it is imperative that the American people know and understand the stances taken by the candidate for whom they will vote. Key to my vision are four main ideas. 1, that the gap between the wealthy and the economically disadvantaged must be made smaller. 2, that we strengthen American military might so that it can continue to be a deciding factor in global stability. 3, that all children should have the same right to an effective education. And 4, that decisions concerning family affairs are to be decided by the states.
As your representative, I will work to overhaul the nation's broken immigration system and give rights to undocumented immigrants without fully opening the borders. I will work with Congress to implement economic policies that strengthen the middle class and close the income gap through tax increases and economic assistance. I will pass legislation to make it easier for America's students to go to college and become functioning members of the global economy. I will work to diminish money's corrupting influence in politics, regardless of those who claim that it is speech. I will support the cause of the LGBTQIA+ community, because no person should go without rights just because of who they love. I will work to defend American economic interests and security abroad while working with other countries to enforce human rights measures. As the President of the United States of America, I will use the tools granted to me by the Constitution to improve our domestic and foreign policy. More importantly, I will make sure to represent you, the people. United, we can move forward to a better future for every American. Let's move forward.
There are 7 main areas that I seek to address. The first is education. We need to make college accessible to all Americans. Second, we need to create jobs. We need to put people back to work. Third, I will address equality between all people. We need to create a Medicare for all system. In addition, lower taxes on the lower class and the middle class, to ensure that the working class has more money and raise taxes, as Hillary said, on the people who can more than afford it. We must ensure that the $15 per hour limit is addressed so that all people can afford to eat and to live in this country. Finally, we need to scale back our foreign policy so that we are supporting our allies but not taking an active and aggressive role. As president,
I thought it was pretty dumb, honestly. Some of his policies are just ridiculous. He wants to lower taxes for all classes, including the super wealthy. He wants to lower taxes for corporate businesses. I don't know what that will do good for the federal. I do agree that we need to lower taxes for the lower and middle class because they can't make a substantial living, particularly the lower class. But as far as the super wealthy and corporate businesses go, I don't see why it's so important that we lower taxes. If we lower taxes, then the government isn't going to be able to pay for federal accommodations or services or public goods, which is a very important role of government. So I don't think that policy will help anyone.
I am adamantly against her support of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I believe it will take away American jobs, and that it will, and one provision of the treaty, the ISDS, will allow foreign countries to sue the United States for certain legislation, so they won't have to comply with certain environmental laws or minimum wage laws.
This just in. Marco Rubio is wrapping his policy plans. Let's take a closer look.
Before we have our vice presidential acceptance speech, I would just like to make a brief announcement. My fellow Americans, hit it. Yo, I'm Marco Rubio and I'm speaking the truth. I got sympathy for the working poor and I'm hip with the youth. I want to ensure that our kids succeed. To make our country better for the poor, I'll tell you what we need. Woo. I want to see some policy that'll improve our economy. Want to get rid of the slot machines and all of the pornography. I want to bring the power to the poor by lowering taxes so that they can make more, and therefore, I know what I'm going to do. I want to increase education. Yeah. The first step is to increase education and give our kids the skills they need to make a better nation. That means learning how to save and learning how to budget, learning how to achieve in the global market. I love it. But education isn't the only solution, it's true. So now I'll tell you all about my step 2 to give Americans more room to succeed, so that they can achieve and in order for them to see that they can dream and achieve and believe, I believe that we must put one thing into practice: reducing regulation and taxes. If I were president, I would protect us from harm, protect us from danger, using Armstrong arm. I'm talking M-I-L-I, Terry, boom, boom, ISIS, you don't scare me, cause I'm all about the poor, I'm all about the people. I will not start wars, but I won't be feeble. I'm a defender of democracy, a hater of hypocrisy, got American philosophy. You wanna talk to me, cause I'm the candidate that's running for you. It's the new American century, and that's the truth.
So far, recent polls have shown that Clinton leads with 42%, Rubio with 31%, and Sanders trailing with 25%. Thanks for joining us on CBC today. This is Mary Ann signing off.
From CBC News.